Anna.
And I'm Stefan. I go by Steph, or as the grandkids call us,
Gigi.
And Papa Steph. Not Papa Smurf, but Papa Steph.
So we're sitting outside obviously right now, and it is super hot, and we are sweating to death because it's September in Florida.
So if I'm dripping, you
Sorry.
understand it's Florida, it's 100 degrees
And
here,
my
it's high
glasses
humidity,
are fogging up.
and there's no breeze.
It's really stifling, but
Yeah.
Anyway. So we're just kind of introducing ourselves today because we started our own YouTube channel. So I was born in Miami Beach, and I grew up in the South Florida area.
And I was born in Toronto, Canada, lived there for most of my life, and then a few years in Montreal, and then moved to Florida.
Yeah, so that's how we met. He made a move, and we've been married since 2002, and he has 2 kids. I have 1.
And we have none.
None.
And it's been arranged by both
Well, I'm old.
Mother Nature
Mother Nature.
and surgical procedures. So, and it's gonna stay that way.
Yeah, obviously. So you might be wondering why we decided to start our own YouTube channel. Well, it's 2020 and the pandemic hit, and we've been home basically since April and not really able to work outside the home. We've been fortunate enough to be able to continue working at home, but for the most part we had a lot more free time on our hands because we weren't doing the things we normally do, you know, visiting family and friends and traveling and things like everybody else does. So we started watching a lot of streaming type things because we don't have regular TV, we don't have satellite, we don't have cable, and we started watching a lot of YouTube videos and started seeing people chronicle their lives, whether they were traveling or just their everyday life, and it kind of got us to think about the fact that we don't really have that today. I mean, back in the day, like Stefan's dad was really into making home movies.
Yeah, my dad, you know, my dad's a lot older, or he's passed now. But my dad was 50 when I was born, and my mom was 40, so my dad was really into doing home movies. Now the little 8mm, but my dad had the big ginormous 16mm camera. I actually had 2 of them because he wanted to do double angle shots and a whole bunch of neat things like that, which really never materialized. He had editing machines he never used, and so on. So he would make movies of us in the family, and the reels were about 4 inches in diameter, and they were about 5 minutes each. But to watch them, and he had hundreds of them, but to watch them, you know, honestly, out of those reels, there was only about a minute or 2 each time that was worth keeping. But to watch the movies, we had to get out this ginormous 16mm projector, the screen, set it all up, and it took more time to change the reels than it did to watch the couple minutes on each reel. It was ridiculous. And then he progressed to slides, and he had hundreds of slide reels in the house, and it's the same idea there. And then Diana's mom, she's got photo albums.
Oh, photo albums upon photo albums, and they're super great, and we love looking at them when we're at her house. I mean, they're shelves of them, literally. I think they're in chronological order. She's done an amazing job of putting them together, and it's from
they're super organized.
Super organized. They're from the early 60s when she and my dad first got married, all the way up until, I don't think she's really put anything in an album for quite a few years, but probably at least through the early 2000s. So there are so many books, and they're wonderful, but that's just not what we have. I mean, I have over 6,000 pictures in my camera roll in my phone. I mean, that's crazy. And not all of them are keepers, obviously, but I just haven't gone through them and gotten rid of them, but none of them are in print. We back them up on a hard drive, but we never really look at them. So we were starting to try and figure out why we, you know, how we could go about chronicling our own life in today's technology so that maybe our kids and grandkids could take an interest in it later on to hear about our stories in life, because all the stories from your parents are gone. It's only what we can remember, and you don't remember all those details. I mean, my dad was a great storyteller, but we just don't remember everything about all of those stories, and I wish we had done that. We started to do that with my mom and writing those things down, but we've missed out on some great stories. Stefan's parents lived through World War II in Germany.
And my mom was in East Germany, and then with her young kids in tow, after she lost her husband to war, she, you know, snuck across the border to West Germany and eventually made it to Canada. But I mean, there are some crazy stories. Maybe what we'll do in some future videos, maybe we'll try to at least tell the story as best as we can with some pictures that we've got, at least to chronicle that.
But we've also done some traveling, and we wish we had chronicled those more. We have pictures, but we don't have video. We always kind of made fun of those people walking around with their cameras and their selfie sticks and things like that, but now I'm kind of mad that we weren't those people. And we want to do that because I know from my daughter, she's really into genealogy and knowing all that background. And I'm hoping that maybe even if the grandkids aren't into that right now, obviously because they're super young, but in the future, I mean, especially if we're not here, we would like them to know more about us or to remember us in a better way that they, you know, might not be able to remember as they get a little bit older or when they have children. And we're just hoping to kind of pass this down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
I just figured it was kind of an easy way to do it, and you can watch it from anywhere. So we don't have to go to grandma's house to look at the pictures on the shelf.
So we're going to ultimately show a little bit of videos of a little bit of everything that we do in our life, from our travels, which aren't a whole lot, to home renovation projects, to just adventures and things that are going on in our lives. Hopefully it'll be of some interest to you and hopefully to the kids too.
Well, the whole travel thing is really what got us thinking a few years ago too. And we've done a little bit of traveling. We live in Florida, so of course we've done the Caribbean a lot, and we've done some work travel, but we've done some pleasure travel also. But we want to do more of that, and one of the things that we do like to do is cruise, because it takes us to a lot of different places without a lot of effort on our part. You know where you're going to eat, maybe you're spending time in port, but you're only there for maybe 8, 10, or 12 hours. And so one day we were sitting at our favorite place in town before the pandemic that we would go to
bar.
that we would go to after work, and we have, you know, friends that we've made there, but it's inside of a hotel. And there was a couple visiting, and we wound up sitting next to them and talking to them, and they were very GQ looking. I mean, she looked like she walked out of a Chanel magazine, and he looked like he was on the front of GQ. And they were a little bit older. They were in their mid to late 70s probably. And
something like that.
I'm kind of guessing maybe, you know, early 70s. But anyway, we got to talking about travel, and she asked us why we love cruising so much. And I said, because you get a little taste of a lot of places, but then we can decide where we might want to go back and spend more time. And she said, would you mind if I ask you how old you are? And at the time, both of us were 55, and she said, honey, you don't have time to go back. You've got to keep moving forward. And so we started thinking about that. And, you know, we didn't go anywhere big last year because we were saving up for our big trip this year that got ruined because of the pandemic, of course. But it just...
Let's postpone until next year.
Yeah.
God willing, we get to go. But, you know, it's a month's trip, so they're not cheap, so we really got to save up for it. But, you know, you start looking at all the different places you want to go, and you're doing a year, another year, another year, another year. Before you know it, 5, 6 years have passed, and we're in our mid-60s already, for crying out loud.
Right.
So that's what she means by time passes.
Time passes. And so those are the things that we want to kind of chronicle for our grandkids as well as ourselves, so we can look back and enjoy them. But so we just decided to do it this way, and we hope that you come along with us.
Well, we hope you enjoy the ride. Now, if you got any ideas or things you'd like to see, you know, by all means, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and also put in the comments of anything that you want to know about or things that you have questions of. We'll be happy to answer as best as we can. So for now, see you next time.